Getting really into the technicalities there of the proposals, so I think it's better if we have a kind of bilateral conversation and maybe bring in some of our experts on what's actually covered by these proposals. Just in terms of the overall estimate that we mentioned, this idea of 140 billion euros potentially being captured over the course of the year, that is a number which remains in place. The member states have essentially endorsed the broad framework of our proposals with a number of flexibilities introduced, but we don't see that as having any significant impact on the estimates that we made.
The college's agenda contains for tomorrow a package on youth in external action. We don't have a formal point on energy on the college agenda for tomorrow. As you know, there are a series of high-level meetings this week. There will be a summit on Friday, which is going to discuss energy, among other topics. So we will hear from the leaders. We will continue our exchanges with governments after last week's Energy Council, and then we will take rapidly the measure of this, and we are going to put new proposals on the table thereafter. But there is nothing on the agenda of the college for tomorrow.
I think it's a fairly simple and normal process for us to be consulting widely with all member states, especially on such a sensitive issue. Member states always bring their ideas to the table. You referred to a conversation or a statement last week. You will have seen over many months now many papers, non-papers, statements, ideas coming from the member states. The Commission's role, as always, is to collect all of this, to put it together with our expertise, to put it together with all the different political calculations that we have to make, and then to put an appropriate proposals on the table at the appropriate time. Now, that's what we've done since the start of this crisis. If you look back, it's almost a year now that we presented the energy prices toolbox. We presented the proposals on gas storage, on demand reduction, and the proposals that have now been adopted just last week at the Energy Council. We have said that there is more that needs to be done. We're talking to all the member states about that, and of course they will be talking amongst themselves as well in various different constellations. It's just a normal part of the process, everybody talking to each other, so we come with proposals which make sense, which solve the problems that we're trying to tackle, and of course which can then move as quickly as possible through the decision-making process so they have an impact for citizens and for businesses.
I was explaining the process that we have here in place. All hands are on the deck at the European Commission to work on proposals and on packages and on measures to alleviate the burden on consumers and on businesses. Last week we had a very rich discussion at the level of the Council in the form of the Energy Council. This week there will be an informal summit. Heads of state and government will discuss this matter on Friday, and after that, taking the temperature and seeing the political steer and orientation, the Commission will proceed rapidly to continue with its work on addressing energy prices.
Your question was on the solidarity contribution and the changes that were made in the Council. So the legal text, if I understand correctly, is available online, and indeed I can confirm that the solidarity contribution itself is to be imposed on the surplus profits that are generated in the fiscal year 2022 and or 2023.